Namaste and welcome to Karuna-Yoga with Compassion, your weekly sanctuary to Bali 92.3 FM, where we explore the ancient maps to modern living. And I'm your host, Kiran. And today we're going to talk about something that might just change the way you see your life and not just your yoga practice. I'd love to hear from our listeners. So call in and share your thoughts and experiences regarding our topic, which I will reveal in a little bit. And the call in number to the studio is 1877 265 5992. I repeat, 1877 265 5992. Have you ever felt like you're living in dozen different directions at the same time? Your body is at your desk, your mind is on your to-do list, and your spirit is just trying to find this quiet corner to hide. Well, what if I told you there's an ancient 5-layered map that explains exactly why you're feeling that way and how to find your way back to that single whole self? This isn't just about downward facing dogs. This is about living a life that feels whole, connected, and which is truly yours. The Koshas. The Koshas are a concept from a Vedantic philosophy, an ancient tradition from India that dates back to thousands of years. And this isn't about just dry philosophy today. It's about a remarkably practical and profound tool for navigating this overwhelming stress, anxiety, which our modern world throws at us. In a culture where we are getting pushed as constantly, we're busy, to be everything to everyone and to focus on our physical appearance and external achievements, we often lose sight of the sense of self. And the koshas are our way back home. Think of it like this. Imagine you are a Russian nesting doll. You know, the ones where you have a doll within a doll and a doll within a doll. So you have the outermost doll, the one that everyone sees. Inside that, there is another slightly smaller one, and so on, until you get to the very last, tiniest doll at the center. The koshas are exactly like that. They are 5 concentric layers or sheaths that surround our innermost core, our true self. Now, the goal isn't to get rid of any of those layers, but to understand and integrate them, seeing them as a beautiful, functional parts of who you are, all working in harmony. Now, think about our modern lives that we are living today. You're likely juggling a demanding job, your social interactions, a family, and a constant stream of information that we are getting through social media, through print, through TV. This endless barrage of inputs make you feel fragmented and disconnected. The koshas provide a framework to understand this feeling. Instead of being just stressed out, you can see that your Annamaya kosha, which is your physical body, is exhausted. Or your Manomaya kosha, which is your mental sheath, is overwhelmed by information overload. This model gives us a map to our inner world, allowing you to get to the root of your exhaustion and hence leading you to find a holistic solution. It shows you that true well-being isn't about a single fix. It's about integrating all parts of yourself. The koshas help you see that the stress on your mind is impacting your body and your breath, and vice versa. It's a symphony, not a solo instrument. I'd love to hear from you regarding koshas, your experiences, or even just what's going through your thoughts right now. Give us a call, 1877 265 5992. And maybe I'd like to hear about the balance that you would like you find in this chaotic world. And don't be shy. We'll be taking the calls throughout my talk. I'll pause and we will have a conversation. So how does this make sense beyond the yoga mat? Uh, on the mat, the practice becomes a guided tour through your kosha. You start with Annamaya kosha as you move into your physical body in a different pose. Then you link these movements to your breath, connecting to the pranamaya kosha, your life force. When your body is inevitably wandering through your to-do list, that's your manomaya kosha at play. By consciously bringing your focus back, you're engaging on your Vijnanamaya kosha, the wisdom sheath, which allows you to observe your thoughts. Finally, in that quiet moment of rest at the end of the class, when you feel a deep sense of peace, you're touching the Anandamaya kosha, the bliss sheath. Off the mat, this framework becomes your daily reality check. When you feel a certain way, let's say tired, irritable, or anxious, ask yourself, which kosha is speaking to me right now? If you're sluggish, maybe it's your Annamaya kosha, your physical sheath that needs better food or more rest. If you're on a edge, a few minutes of conscious breathing to balance your pranamaya kosha may be more effective than a cup of coffee, probably. And this model transforms the abstract feelings into actionable insights, empowering you to live more mindfully and with greater purpose. Speaking of powerful tools for modern living, I have an exciting announcement. We are so thrilled to welcome Adarsh Williams, a renowned yoga teacher from Netherlands, to Karuna-Yoga in Pleasanton. He's coming to share his deep wisdom in a series of exclusive workshops this September, which is next month, right around the corner. To celebrate, we are giving away free passes to his workshops throughout the show. Get ready to call in. And you all know the number. It is 1-877-265-5992. There will be two different kinds of workshops, one for practitioners, and the other one is for people who are on the teaching journey or who are already teaching. And this is open to everyone in the Bay Area. More details are in our website, which is www.yogawithk.com, or you can just Google search Karuna Yoga with Compassion in Pleasanton. Let's take a quick walk through these 5 layers just to get a feel for the map. We'll get to each one in a lot more detail in the coming weeks. So first, we have Annamaya kosha, our physical body. Then tucked just inside that is the Pranamaya kosha, our vital energy. Deeper still is Manomaya kosha, the layer of our thoughts and emotions. And a little deeper still, we find the Vijnanamaya kosha, or our inner wisdom. Finally, at the very center is the Anandamaya kosha, the bliss sheath. If these are triggering any thoughts, any comments, any questions, number is 1-877-265-5992. I'd love to hear from you. We're getting to our free passes giveaway for Adarsh Williams' workshop in Karuna. This is a series of workshops you don't want to miss. Adarsh is a master teacher, and it's a rare opportunity to learn from him in Pleasanton, and he's coming in September from Netherlands. So continuing our conversation about koshas, the beauty of these koshas is that you can't just fix the mind without looking at the body. It all works together, a symphony of being, like I mentioned earlier. And over the next few weeks, we will dedicate an entire session to each of these beautiful layers. Let me tell you 2 stories today. Both of these stories offer powerful insights into understanding the koshas, showing us the ancient philosophy is not just a concept, but a living guide to self-discovery. Each one, in its own way, uses a timeless metaphor to help us understand the layers of our being. The first one is called the parable of the golden Buddha. It is one of those Buddhist stories which most Buddhist practitioners read about, they share, etc. So this is how it goes. In Thailand, there was a famous statue of a seated Buddha made of clay. It was called Frasi Sakaya Muni. For centuries, it was believed to be nothing more than a simple, large clay statue. When the monastery was being moved, a group of monks were carefully transporting this heavy statue. And there was a storm. During the storm, a large crack appeared in the clay. Curious, the monks examined the crack and noticed a gleam of gold beneath the dull exterior. They began to carefully chip away at the clay, and as they did, they discovered that the entire statue was not made of clay at all, but was a magnificent solid gold Buddha statue underneath. It has been covered with clay centuries earlier by monks who wanted to protect it from invading armies. The clay was a disguise, a protective shell to hide its true, invaluable nature. This story is a powerful metaphor for our own lives and for the koshas. For example, the clay exterior, which is the Annamaya kosha, and the clay is our physical body, the most obvious layer that we present to the world. Like the clay statue, we are often seen and judged by our external form, our appearances, our clothes, our jobs. And this is the part where we spend the most time on, focusing on its shape and condition. And there are protective layers like Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and Koshas, the layers of the clay that the monks had to chip away to represent our emotional, mental, and wisdom sheets. These are the layers we create to protect ourselves from the world, our habits, our fears, our stories, and beliefs. We build them up over time, and they can disguise our true nature. A person who is quick to anger might be protecting a deep fear. A person who is always busy might be hiding from their thoughts. We can become so identified with these layers that we forget that they're not our true self. The golden Buddha, the Anandamaya Kosha, the solid Buddha is our true nature, our pure, unshakable bliss, our innate goodness, wisdom, and compassion. It is the Buddha nature that is within all of us. The work of self-discovery or the path of the koshas isn't about creating something new, but simply about chipping away that protective layers of clay to reveal the radiant, perfect being that we are all along. The lesson here from the Golden Buddha is that our true, valuable, and blissful self is not something to be acquired, but something to be uncovered. It is already within us, just waiting for us to be patiently and gently removed from the layers that hide within its light. The second story, this actually comes from the Hindu mythology. And this can give us a lot more detail, or maybe an additional example or understanding of what they are. So this is a story of Nachiketa and the Yama. In the ancient Hindu text called the Katha Upanishad, there's a powerful story, this one, that beautifully illustrates the concept of the koshas, though it doesn't use the exact term, though. It's the tale of a young boy called Nachiketa and the god of death, Yama. Nachiketa was the son of a sage named Vajashravas. His father was performing a grand sacrifice, and as part of the ritual was giving away his possessions. Nachiketa, curious and observant boy, noticed his father was only giving away old, useless cows that were too weak to give milk or even bear calves. So young Nachiketa, understanding the true spirit of giving, felt a pang of sorrow and challenged his father. Father, to whom will you give me? He asked. Annoyed and agitated, his father replied, to death I give you. Nachiketa, being a boy of great integrity and obedience, took his father's words to heart, and set off on a journey to abode of the Yama, the death god. He waited for 3 days and 3 nights without food or water at Yama's door. Impressed by the boy's unwavering resolve and dedication, Yama returned and offered Nachiketa 3 boons. For the first boon, Nachiketa asked to be reunited with his father. For his second, he asked to understand the sacred fire ceremony that leads to heaven. And for his third, he asked for a profound secret. Tell me, Yama, what happens to a person after they die? Something of them remain, or do they simply cease to be? This is an interesting question, by the way. On the side note, every one of us must be pondering over this. Yama was reluctant to answer. He said it was a difficult secret, one that even the gods didn't fully understand. He tried to tempt Nachiket with promises of wealth, long life, and earthly pleasures, but Nachiket remained steadfast. He said, "These things are temporary, Yama. You have the secret to something eternal. Please share it with me." Moved by the boy's wisdom and determination, Yama agreed to teach him the secret. He began by explaining that there are 2 paths in life: a path of the pleasant, Priya, and the path of the good, Shreya. The path of the pleasant is easy, full of immediate gratification, but it leads to a temporary, fleeting happiness. The path of the good is challenging, but it leads to lasting peace and wisdom. Then Yama used an analogy that perfectly mirrors the Koshas. He said, know the self as the master of the chariot, the body as the chariot itself, intellect as the charioteer, and the mind as the reins. The senses are the horses, and the objects of the senses are the roads. The wise call the self the enjoyer, and when it is united with the body, the senses and the mind. So, how this relates to the koshas then? I'm going to take a pause and invite you to call in. The number for today is 1877 265 5992. I repeat, 1877 265 5992. Please share your thoughts. And don't forget, we're giving away free passes to the upcoming workshop with Adarsh Williams, a brilliant yoga teacher from Netherlands, who will be at KARUNA-Yoga in Pleasanton this September. And these workshops are over a weekend, 2 hours each. And it would be an easy commute to wherever you are in the Bay. Think of it as a little treat that you're going to give yourself. So coming back to our story, how does the story relate to the koshas, even though it doesn't explicitly speak of the koshas? Think of the chariot as the Annamaya kosha. The physical body is the vehicle. It is the outermost layer that carries us through the life. Like a chariot, it needs to be maintained and cared for, but it's not the driver or the true self. Well, for the modern people who, like the teenagers and Gen Zs, they are that's their car. Maybe chariot is something you don't know, but it's the car. The horses, or the pranamaya kosha and the manomaya kosha, they are the senses, the prana, and the mind, the manas, are the horses. They are the sources of energy, thoughts, and desires that pull the chariot forward. If you leave it unchecked, the horses can run wild and pull the chariot in any direction, causing chaos and suffering. The reins are your manomaya kosha. The mind acts as the reins. It is what we use to control our senses. The weak mind has loose reins and the senses can run wild. A strong, disciplined mind can hold the reins firmly, guiding the horses towards the right path. Then we have the charioteer, or the driver, Vijnanamaya kosha, the intellect or the wisdom. That is our charioteer. This is the part of us that has discriminate and can choose which path to take. We have the choice, we have the power. It is our higher consciousness that decides whether to follow the pleasant or follow the good, regardless of where the senses might want to go. We have a call. I'll take a pause. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Is this Priya?
Hi. I'm Priya. Yes, I am.
Good to have you back. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And a very interesting topic. I'm not really into much of Koshas, but it was really interesting to listen to the stories, and just felt like wanted to contribute my thoughts on this.
Absolutely.
The one thing I can really connect with the Koshas, the physical, the Annamaya and the Manonmaya is the connection with the food. So, especially the sugar. Sugar, when the kids or we ourselves eat a lot of sugary food, the way our mind reacts is very different.
So true.
And
so true.
When, especially during holidays or Diwali season, when you eat a lot of sweets, that's when we feel we are not thinking properly, or the kids are too hyper. And when you really focus on what you're eating, that's when your Manonmaya Kosha really calms down. So that was the only thought I had during this entire feature.
Priya,
so just my small...
It is not small, and it is not only. If you break the word Annamaya, Anna is also in another meaning of Annam is food or nutrition or nourishment. And also we often hear you are what you eat, right? So
yes,
it's connected. We are what we eat. Our thoughts does get influenced by what we eat. That's why yogic lifestyle promotes sattvic food or vegan, vegetarian, lighter food. Keep your body light. Not just it just helps to do the yoga better because you're lighter. And also it keeps your mind active and on the go, etc. as well. So yeah, totally. So it's beautiful thought.
And one more actually I wanted to add here is, which I have been trying to follow this for nearly now 5, 6 or more than years, is especially when you cook your food, you have to be very careful with your thoughts.
That's true.
Any thoughts that deviates from the empathy or compassion from the cooking, what you're offering to your family, that it reacts. That their thoughts also react the same way.
So true.
So true. I always, what I do is whenever I'm cooking my food or whenever I'm offering food to the dining table, I always have some Dhanvantri shlokas in my mind going on.
yes.
And that also really, connects the Manonmaya Kosha here.
Absolutely. And there are several, ritualistically also, if you look at it, people who follow rituals, they always offer food to the deities. It doesn't matter which religion we follow, we offer to the higher power first before you consume. That also brings in those energies that we are seeking, etc. So yes, totally true. Totally true. I'm so glad you called in and shared, Priya. And by the way, please, I welcome you to join our workshop. So send me an email. It's info@yogawithk.com, and I will send along the 2 passes to you. I'd love to see you.
Perfect. I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds
good. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. So, as you heard, we are giving away passes, but I will wrap up today's conversation by touching upon the last bit, the master of the chariot, which is the Atman, the self, or the Anandamaya Kosha. The self or the Atman is the master. It is the passenger, the observer, the true self. It is pure, unchanging, and one for whom the entire journey is happening. It is the final Kosha. Anandamaya is the blissful state of being in tune with your true self. So, through this story, we understand how to align this complex, abstract idea, which is ancient, to our modern lives, what we are doing today, and how it all, just an understanding and awareness is enough now. We don't have to just begin practicing just yet. Thank you for joining me on this first step of our journey inward. Over the next few weeks, we will be breaking down each of these concepts, and I'll bring along some guests. Maybe some of them will be doctors, some of them philosophers, to go deeper into what this is, all each of these are, and how we connect with our modern life. Until next week, be well, and may you find a little bit more peace in your unfolding self. Namaste.